Blessed be everyone. Hello and welcome to Black Magic Talk. I'm here with Matt Collins. This is episode 13, all about our deities and why we chose them, a little history about them. Basically, we're just talking deities today. I have several, so I'm going to let Matt go first. Just tell us a little bit of history and then tell us why you decided to like, how did they come into your life? Did they give you a sign or a signal? And then what you have gained or learned from their, I don't know, coming into your life and helping you.
Sure. Well, I'm lucky enough to have an out-of-print book called Woden Oz, and that was the original name of Odin. And like Dave Lee was saying last week, he did something with a voodoo god, and it was a god of your head. And he was saying how he all of a sudden understood that was Odin's relationship in his life. So yeah, Odin is a god of consciousness is huge for me. But also poetry is a big part of my life. So Odin went and stole the mead of inspiration from a giant and transformed into an eagle to get away from him, which is actually funny because I'll bring that up later, but that has something to do with next week. Anyways, though, so I've written poetry since I was in my teen age years. And at first I thought, oh God, I'll never write poetry. It's like wussy stuff, I thought. And then my mom showed me Edgar Allan Poe and William Shakespeare, and I was like, whoa, you can really express yourself in ways that you can't, that aren't socially acceptable otherwise.
You were hooked, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I was blown away and hooked. And I remember A Dream Within a Dream was a real big one in my early years from Edgar Allan Poe. And so to find out that Odin was the god of poetry and war and some words I probably can't say on YouTube, and is really interesting to me. But consciousness is the big one. Scientists can't even pinpoint what exactly consciousness is at this point still. So that plays a big part of it for me, exploring the unknown, which, as Dr. Flower says, can be in the universe and in our mind. It's the inner secret of nature that exists in ourselves and outside of ourselves. So kind of the counterpart of Odin, not his wife, but the counterpart is Freya. And from Freya, he learned this other kind of magic called, I believe it's pronounced scythe. And it's body magic. So Odin's kind of the head of the Aesir, one of the race of Norse gods, while Freya is the Vanir, and she teaches him body magic, and he teaches her Galder, or the spoken magic.
Can you explain what body magic is?
Yeah, a little bit. I actually have another book called Source Book of Scythe, if anyone's interested in that, and it's just directly from the sagas. And so what will happen is, it seems, because unfortunately a lot of things from Freya got destroyed by certain sects of religious people for being a little too naughty. So it's very unfortunate because she potentially ties in with Venus, which it gets into in the Lost Gods of England. And yeah, I've got a lot of books because I wanted to kind of give people other things to study if they wanted to. Because I'm not a historian. But let's see, where was I? So someone would go into basically a trance, a scythe trance, and lay down, and it usually involves some kind of gloves with animal skin. And then actually the hammer, or kind of like astral body of somebody, if you will go out and battle very fiercely with the ferocity of a bear or a wolf were two big ones, which they call berserk. That word kind of still got in use in English through Germanic. It was berserker ganga. And there were cults of typically bears and wolves, of people that supposedly shapeshifted into these. And that was done by people chanting around while someone laid down and went into this deep trance that allowed their, again, hammer or astral body to leave them. And so, yeah, that's what Freya is known for, as well as love, more of a romantic love than a marriage kind of love, that would be Odin's wife Frigg, who Alice Karlsdottir wrote in the book Norse Goddess Magic, I think it's called. I could be wrong, but Alice Karlsdottir. And she said that they are different entities, even though there's so many incredible similarities, but they are definitely different. So that's something that sometimes people will argue about. I've seen arguments both ways in books that are well written. But those are the main two Norse deities. And then, of course, there's Thor, who was actually more popular than Odin because Odin was kind of scary to people, being this god of consciousness and war and ecstasy and rage. And, but you got to remember that it's symbolic. It's that inspiration that a poet or perhaps a warrior in battle needs to, get the job done. Or Thor is more of the protector, even though he's so strong and everything, is represented even in the Disney movie, which isn't always entirely right. But, for example, his wife is Sif, and they have her as his friend in the movie. Since the last time I saw, I've only seen a few of them. But she has golden grains of hair, which is a little bit reminiscent of Freya too. And, of course, Loki steals her hair, and then Thor makes Loki go and get it back, as Loki's known to be the troublemaker and always. But what's interesting is every time that Loki steals something, the gods actually get more back at the end from it. So he does play a crucial role. He's not just being a trickster for no reason or to cause trouble. The gods actually do benefit from it. So even Loki serves his purpose. And Loki is only, I think, in particular of the sagas, not all of them, but he gets punished and in hell, which is not a bad place, but a place that you need vitality to get out of, to free yourself from, because the Norse did believe in reincarnation, as did the Celts and many other cultures, I'm sure. But that's what I'm more studied in. And Loki would have venom spill on his head, but luckily his wife would help him out as much as she could in that regards. And then also you've got, I'm just going to go over the basic Norse gods. You've got also Tyr, who was the most trustworthy of the gods. And because of that, the Fenris wolf, Fenrir, made him put his hand in the mouth of Fenrir. And then the gods promised not to tie him up, but they had to break that oath, which is a big thing in Germanic culture not to do. But sometimes you got to give to the greater good. And Tyr got his hand bit off by Fenrir. So that was a big sacrifice for a warrior culture where you needed your hands to defend yourself and everything. And that part of the bone is still named after Tyr. I forget the name, but I read that. So to me, I would say those are the biggest deities of the Norse. There are actually 12, but those are the biggest ones to me. And then we had Dave Lee on last week, and I was saying how I had taken some connected breathwork classes with him. During my first two, actually, hour-long sessions, I managed not to fall asleep. And the first time I saw Freya, it was like a dream. But I was awake, and she didn't say anything to me, but she was large as life. And I remember, it's clear as day still, a bird flew on her hand, and it was just incredibly beautiful. Everything was really green, and the sun was out.
So you actually saw her. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you actually saw Freya.
I actually, yes, saw Freya. Now,
amazing.
It was. I mean, it was like a meditative trance, but yeah, that's why I was saying Dave's classes are incredible. Then the next time I saw Odin, and again, larger than life, even probably more so, he seemed just like to cover in the entirety completely. And he seemed very, very much black to me, very dark. His cloak is known as being incredibly dark blue, but it seemed black to me. And again, no words were spoken, but obviously a profound experience. And after that, I kept returning to a cave, and I saw bind runes enough to where I could remember and write down what I saw. So yeah, again, I would highly recommend any classes to take of his. And those were obviously the most profound experience I've had with those deities. But after that, it cemented in my mind, I think I'm on the right path. Because actually, in school, I had learned about Greek and Egyptian deities. So I had carried that into my adulthood. And actually, my best friend from high school was into Odin. So I knew about him. And I had seen the runes when I was probably 19 from a Therion album, which is a heavy metal band. And I said to him, I'm going to learn those symbols, those funny looking symbols. And because at the time I had no idea what they were, but I knew there's something there. And I didn't realize that it was a big part of my culture and the deities that I would end up being involved with for, I assume, the rest of my life. Because I would say Odin came into my life when I was about 30, and I'm going to be 42 this year. So it's almost been 12 years. And that's when I started seriously practicing magic more so, and studying a lot more. And I've written a lot of my poetry dedicated, especially to Freya. And you know what? I didn't mention Freyr. Freyr is the twin of Freya, and he sees a giantess. He takes Odin's seat, and he's the only one besides his wife that has ever sat there. And he sees this giantess who is Geirth, and becomes enthralled and extremely depressed because he just has to have her. And so that happens in the skírismál, if I'm saying that right, and one of the sagas in the Poetic Edda. And that was very inspiring for me because I think I saw it as a poet needs a muse to be inspired. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a wife or anything, but just some feminine deity that inspires you to do better and to better yourself. So at least that's my personal interpretation of that. And I know you've got a lot of deities, so I think I'll hand it over to you at this point.
A few more questions. So tell me, Freyr wanted this person, this giantess. What was her name?
Geirth.
Geirth. Do you know what happened between them? Did he actually finally get her for his own?
Yeah, so we had Chris Smith on, and he wrote that story called Snorri, The Afterlife Adventures of Snorri Sturluson. And he wrote it, the guide was Skirnir, and that's from that story, skírismál. And so Freyr told Skirnir what was wrong and said, I saw this giantess, and I just have to have her. And so he traded his magical sword that swung by itself and a magic horse to Skirnir to go woo her in his name. And the first things he offered her golden apples that would make her immortal. She said, nope. And then I think he might have offered the sword and horse, if memory serves. And she said no. So then he actually ended up using rune magic on her to make her say yes, which is kind of naughty in modern terms. But she agreed, but she said, I will meet him in 9 nights, which is a huge part of Germanic culture. And so Freyr said, upon Skirnir's return and telling him how it went, she said yes. And he said, well, great, where is she? And he said, well, you have to wait for 9 nights. And so he said, longer has a month been than to wait so long. And Odin also hangs in the world tree Yggdrasil for 9 nights to win the runes. Thor takes 9 steps after he's bitten by the world serpent at Ragnarok and dies. So 9 is a huge, huge number in Germanic culture, as well as Celtic, actually. But I'm not as, wouldn't have a reference off the top of my head for that.
So I'm really intrigued. What happened after 9 nights? Did she eventually come to him?
It's assumed. It actually, no more is written of that, sadly. So a lot of prayer stuff is potentially erased or very little known. So it's a shame.
Okay, well, that was very lovely. I like that. I have a similar story, only about Hecate. Let me move my position because my legs were starting to hurt. And I'm a little dry today. So if you see me take a bunch of water, I'm sorry for that, but I'm a little okay. So we'll start off with Hecate since she's the first one who sort of came to me. So you learned Greek and Egyptian. in school, and pretty much all of us did. That's where I met Aphrodite. I'm really good at this. That's where I met Aphrodite, my first deity. Everyone knows she was the daughter of Zeus. She was also brother to Ares, or sister to Ares, excuse me. Um, I had, for a while, I had her and her son as my goddess and god, respectively. And everyone knows their story. And then it was just recent that I've already met my soulmate. So, um, not that she's no longer needed, but she's kind of stepped to the side. And I don't know if you've had this happen, Matt, where deities, once you're done working with them, will kind of step to the side and will let other deities take over. So Hecate, a little history about her. She was a Titan. She, unfortunately or fortunately for her, sided with Zeus and helped Zeus fight the Titans. Once that was through, he allowed Hecate to do or live wherever she wanted. And Hecate decided, well, I'm going to live in the underworld, and became a very good friend. In fact, I think it was her best friend, of Persephone. And you can look all this up if you want to. Just look up Hecate or the history of Hecate. I sort of have Hecate in my realm. So my teacher actually goes through the history of Hecate. So if you would like to do that, all her links will be in the description field below, if you'd like to check that out. Anyway, meanwhile, Hecate decided to live in the underworld with Hades and Persephone, becoming very good friends. In fact, she was the one who would take Persephone to Demeter when Hades takes her down to the underworld. And it was Hecate who led her with her mighty torch. She does carry a torch as one of her symbols. She also has a very soft spot for black dogs. I love dogs in general, but I mean, I really love black dogs. In fact, I had a black dog, but unfortunately, I was not able to keep him. But I gave him a great home with people who would love him just as much as I did. And I've always been drawn to like the black cats, the black dogs. I'm a cat and a dog person, so I love both. I just have 3 cats right now. I do have a black cat. Her name is Maleficent. She is so spoiled. I'll tell you what, she is so spoiled. It's Maleficent Hecate, actually. I named her after Hecate. And of course, the movie Maleficent had come out, and I was like, oh, if I ever have a black cat, it's going to be Maleficent. So Maleficent Hecate is her name. Hecate is a very sweet spirit. I've never felt any evil from her. I, like you, Matt, have seen her actually in a dream. She was very like, she was like my mother. She was walking me to school, very very loving. The other thing is, she's the goddess of witchcraft. I just want to mention that real fast. She is the goddess of witchcraft, and she is the queen of the witches. She would also help spirits of the dead go to the underworld. She would guide them to the underworld if they were lost, excuse me. So she's like an all-around great deity to have. She's known as the maiden, mother, and the crone. Now, there is a triple goddess you can also call to, but Hecate has sort of become that symbolism, because she is seen as the crone. Though I saw her, she was much younger. She was more of like a mother. So because she was acting like my mother, walking me to school, even though my physical mother never walked me to school. Excuse me. So when I saw her in my dream, she was walking me to school, and she just kind of like laid in the grass and was like, ah, I haven't really been on earth very much. And she just kind of like was laying in the grass, like not a care in the world. Um, and then I realized, wait, hang on a second. We're going to the wrong school. So she was actually she's like, well, I didn't know that. Which school do you go to? And I'm like, it's okay. We'll get there. Don't worry. So I've actually seen Hecate as a mother, because she sort of became my mother in many aspects. She's also working with me and my soulmate on a few things, not only shadow work, but also there are things in the works that I'm trying to do with her. She's been nothing but a motherly figure to me. And like I said, I have rings to her. That's a ring I found on Amazon, and it's her wheel. You can see that. Of course, I have earrings to her. Now I can't take them off, but I have her wheel here. And then, of course, I always carry her key. So this is her key. She is the key bearer of the many planes. Sorry, I keep messing with this. Okay. She's the many key bearer. She holds the key to many planes. So many. Can you still hear me, Matt?
I can.
Okay. I just want to make sure. She will hold the key to all the other dimensions. So not like time travel, but like, helping timelines, or quantum physics talks about timelines and stuff. So she will hold the key to those other dimensions. Working with her has definitely made me more sure of myself and my magic. She is the main mother, to not only to me but also my magic, and she is very helpful in many aspects of my life. And to be honest, I wasn't so sure like I would have a dream about her. um I mean I was physically sleeping and not really thinking of her. I have many statues of her, because I believe she is the one who will help me in my endeavors with my soulmate and stuff. And it's my way of giving thanks to her because I owe her so much, and there's so much yet to come with her. So that's why I bought statues and jewelry with her on it, because she's the main deity that I will call to. We just did a dark moon ritual, which you will call to Hecate. So she's like the main goddess in my life. But the other ones are just kind of there because um I've always felt very close to Isis, not so much Osiris, but they come in a pair. So I was thinking, well, if I take Isis, I gotta have Osiris there too. Husband and wife, which will bring us into the next deities that I call to, is Isis and Osiris. So Isis, sorry, I'll try that again. I might just edit this. I don't know. Isis and Osiris are two deities that they're of course Egyptian, and they are part of the where Amun Ra gives his son Set and also Osiris the land. Set gets the desert, and Osiris got not the desert. He got better land. And then of course Set was always jealous of him. So this is physical history, or what we know of the history of Osiris and Isis is Osiris took a wife who was Isis. She was like the mother goddess, of course. She's the goddess of childbearing. She's not the goddess of love, which I found out in the movie Gods of Egypt. So that she's just more of like home and hearth, childbirth, and then of course family. I think also wheat. She's kind of like Demeter and Diana and several Greek goddesses all in one. So she became Osiris's wife, and of course they had Horus. And then Set comes, and he's very jealous of his brother Osiris, and so how do I put this for the YouTube people? He dismantles him into many parts, and Isis is left grieving. Of course, she's just lost her husband. He's been dismantled, and she actually takes it upon herself to go and find the pieces of him. And so when she gathers many pieces as she can find, she has to kind of fill in the gaps. She resurrects him. And I think that's where the Christians got the resurrection of Jesus. Pretty sure. But that is their history. So they're kind of like the father and mother god and goddesses, especially of Egypt, because Amun-Ra was the main god, but they Osiris and Set were kind of his sons. So it's kind of like the human, you have the father and then you have the sons, and the sons take the wives and then they have children. Excuse me. What drew me to Isis? Again, that mother figure, because I sort of never had a real mom in my life. Not one that wasn't mean to me. And Osiris, of course, is like the dad figure. So it's like the mom and dad protecting their daughter. What I have gained from them is basically, excuse me, I would say that Isis likes to protect me. Osiris and Isis like to protect me from not evil, but like malicious people who would want to take advantage of me. Because in my life, I've been taken advantage of most of my life, because I'm a good person and I wear my heart on my sleeve. So like when I have a friend, that friend realizes that I will pretty much do anything for them. And I give, and they take, but never really give back. So, getting new friends into my life, the people who don't take, and then don't give back, they actually do give back. Whether that's Kit, that's you, Matt, Angel, of course, and then there's also Greg and Deconstruct. All new friends who not only take, but also give back. And I'd like to thank Kit Cabello again. Thank you so much for helping me. Again, if it wasn't for Kit, I wouldn't have met you, Matt. I wouldn't have met anybody on X that, I wouldn't have met Angel. Also Mastermind Hour, I'd like to thank him, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about Angel. I would have known eventually, but he kind of spilled the beans. But I think that's why they've kind of come into my life, is that bond between mother, a father, and a daughter. So they kind of want to protect me from malicious people. And that protection is very well needed, especially when I'm, doing magic, or if I'm meditating. I will feel their presence around me, and they will encircle me with their protection magic, because it's really needed, especially if I'm doing magic that I need done. So if anyone wants to know more about Egyptian folklore or Egyptian goddesses or god and goddesses, I might have a link down in the description field just so you can check it out. They have a very interesting history. So the next one is Kali Ma. Now, I know what you're thinking. For those who don't know her or have only seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, she's evil, right? That's what everyone says. She's an evil goddess. She's kind of like the devil, I guess. Not any resemblance to that whatsoever. I have called to her several times, and I was more allured towards her. When I was little, I was, oh, that's scary. That's though I've never felt scared around her. So a little bit of her history that I know of is that, excuse me, I'm sorry. Her history would be that her brother is Shiva. It's also her husband. And she tries to save her husband by devouring him. Okay. Now the statue I have is her standing over him. But she's very cordial when it comes to being good to him. She's trying to save him at the same time she's doing that. What I can say about Kali Ma is, again, I've never felt evil come from her. Only like curious vibes, like, why do you want me here? Like, she just kind of like seeks you out and then kind of just stares in the corner, behind the corner, and just kind of watches. I know in many of my meditations, I can tell you that she's very, very curious. So she'll stand there with her arms crossed over her chest like this. Sometimes she would like hide behind one of my corners in my room and just kind of peek out and just kind of wait. But she'll give you that, not like a mean stare, but a very curious stare. Like, why do you want me here? What was your purpose of calling to me? And I can only say that Kali Ma for me is, my teacher says she takes away your delusions. She can also take away any fears or apprehensions you might have about seeking what you want. I can't really say what she's done for me other than made me feel sort of like she's like there for protection. Again, she's learned to trust me, that I'm not going to use her for evil deeds, or that I'm not going to say, oh, you're evil, Kali Ma, or whatever. I think you need to have that bond with her. You need to feel that she's almost like, again, a mother. Like a motherly feeling that I've always felt towards her. I've never been scared of her. When she started showing up in my, not dreams, but like she started showing up in my meditations. I've called to her several times. Now she feels more comfortable. She will stand there and just look at me, and it's not, again, not an evil stare, not a mean stare. Again, very curious stare, but also kind of like a loving stare as well. She's depicted as blue, much as like Shiva is also depicted as blue. They come from the India or the Hindu cultures. And actually, I found this out. I looked this up. Actually, Hinduism was the very first religion ever recorded on Earth. So, and this goes back many, many centuries. So, she is just a benefit, and that's why I called to her. I feel safe with her. I never felt, like I said, never felt evil come from her. I've always felt like she was sort of a mother or a protector. And she sort of is. Again, she's depicted with things around her neck. I don't want to. It's skulls, I think, is around her necklace. She'll have, fake skulls there to appease the YouTube gods, the censor gods. So the next one I have is Simbi, and I think that's how you pronounce it. If I'm not pronouncing that right, please let me know. It is a, I want to say it comes from South Africa, but that doesn't sound right. I'll have to look that up again. I'm sorry. I have like 1,000 demon spirits, gods and goddesses book that I found on Amazon from my teacher, who had mentioned that maybe we should pick it up and just kind of look at it. Simbi is a water god, or a water spirit who likes to help people with their psychic abilities. So you kind of see why I would call to him to strengthen my abilities as well. The little blurb that they have in the book is that, he would take people aside and actually show them how to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and then also claircognate. I am very I can't even say it. Claircognate. You know what I mean. I am somewhat clairsentient. I am clairaudient, and I'm working on clairvoyance. When I get into my meditative states, if I just shut my brain off completely, I will see like little slideshows, usually right before I'm about to fall asleep, in my meditations. Simbi, I will literally just call to him if I'm asking him to basically teach me the ways of clairvoyance, or clairsentient, to kind of make them more stronger, to make them stronger. Sorry, not more stronger, but to make them stronger. That wasn't proper English. I apologize. I apologize. So to make that ability stronger, those abilities, I will call to him sometimes in meditation, just to, bring in that clarity that I need. And if I need to, actually the god who helped me the most, or goddess who helped me the most with my clairaudient, was Hecate. In fact, Hecate actually did it before I actually went on YouTube and was like, "Oh, let's strengthen my clairaudient," and it's exactly what Hecate did with me in my own meditations. So, kudos to her that she knew it better than I did. And again, you just have to like lay still and let it come to you. So, eventually I will be able to just close my eyes and I will just see like a movie reel go in my head, right, usually like right here. And I do see that sometimes, or most of the time, when I'm just about to fall asleep. And then I have the most, excuse me, I have the most vivid dreams, about whatever. Like this morning, I dreamt that my son wanted to use the car, and I kept telling him, "No, you can't use the car. You're only 7 years old." um, so there's things like that where, um, he will help with that. Um, so the last one is not really even a god or a goddess. It's more of a real person who actually lived on the earth, just not in our time, Matt. Sometimes I will call to the great Marie Laveau. If anyone doesn't know her, I can try to find a book about her and I'll put it in the description field. Um, she is a voodoo goddess, a voodoo priestess who was very good at what she did. So you don't mess with her, okay? The only reason why I called to her is because I want to be like her. I would love to sit down and learn voodoo and hoodoo and all the stuff that comes with it, because it's very similar to pagan and Wiccan magic. It's just a little different. They use more herbs and stuff, and there's more symbolism in their kind of work, where they have, everyone knows the voodoo dolls. I think that's just Hollywood, to be honest with you. You probably can get voodoo dolls, maybe, I don't know this, and she's not even a goddess, but so much of a voodoo priestess that would help out another priestess of Wicca. And there are I've explained to her that there are a lot of similarities between her magic and my magic. There's just different deities that we will call to, or we will honor or give offerings to. Another good priestess, I would say, is the one in, I can't say her first name, but it's Mary. B. Mary. That's what she calls herself.
Very popular.
Yes, she is very popular. She is, I would say she's not as good as Marie Laveau, because I've heard that Marie Laveau was spectacular. Like literally people would come all around the world just to see her, just to get into her magic and stuff, or give offerings to her, usually money and jewelry, and she had a nice life, but that's because she was good at what she did. And to ask her and then give her an offering is something that I really definitely need to do, but she already knows that I'm in the works of getting a candle on her site. I just haven't gotten there yet. I just, unfortunately, the world is topsy turvy. So right now, I'm getting there, but very slowly. But that's pretty much it that I have. I would say, like I said, Marie is sort of just kind of there for more protection. And I was going to ask her to do something about my cousin who won't leave me alone. So, maybe she could help me with that if I ask her, and then, of course, give offerings.
What about Hecate in the crossroads?
Yes. So she's also known, Hecate is also known as a crossroads. If you're ever stuck in something, you can obviously call to Hecate, and she's given it to me too. She's given me many, many symbols, or not premonitions, but she's given me many show me a sign. Like, she'll give me a sign of what I need to see. She likes to help me with my money situation, which, trust me, I need a lot of help with. And she's just, like I said, she's an all around, like my mother. So if you ever have a really big decision you have to make, I know I had to make one a few months ago, and I went into meditation, and I said, Hecate, I could really use a sign here to what I need to do. And I had a dream a couple nights later, or that night later. I think it was that night. And she showed me the sign I needed to see. So she's also known as the crossroads, or the key bearer of many dimensions, which is why she holds a torch in her hand. She guides you to those dimensions, or to the decision that you have to make. Again, the black dogs. There are stories about the black dogs.
And
people she took pity on. 2 ladies she took pity on, turned them into black dogs. I think the dogs she has with her look like Doberman Pinschers, and they are so adorable. I'm just like, oh, that's what I would be doing if I had these dogs with me. Like, oh, you're such a cute little face.
My son and I saw these Doberman. I wouldn't want to make them upset, though. But
well, it's all in how you train them. So if you spoil them like I do, with love and affection and treats and stuff, they'll grow up to be, little lap dogs who think they're little lap dogs. And you're like, oh, you're crushing me.
That's always so funny. We've had a few big dogs. And then you meet little dogs that think they're big dogs.
Yeah, they're big dogs that think they're little dogs. But one thing is, they're very loyal. So Doberman Pinschers are very loyal, and as long as you treat them right, they will stand by you no matter what. They always want to protect you as well. They're good protectors, not only of adults but also children. And again, if you treat them right, you can guarantee that they're going to be loyal to you and your family. So don't let them scare you. See, the thing is, Hollywood uses these dogs. Oh, no, fear them. Don't buy them. Okay.
Same thing we do with Voodoo.
Right. Look at what Hollywood did to Voodoo and Hoodoo. Yeah. There's nothing evil about these dogs, nothing evil about that religion. It's how people interpret them, or what people will do with them.
Same with Pazuzu. They made him out to be really evil, but in Mesopotamian culture, they would use Pazuzu, who was like a wind deity.
Yeah.
It would keep away the other worse spirits. So he was very welcome. Just you have to be careful. But
Baal was really big among the exorcisms. Yeah. In fact, they use him as a exorcist demon in The Rite. It's a movie with Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, it is The Rite. I really like that. I think it's very underrated.
I like the movie. Yeah, I think it's really awesome. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they use these deities and make them evil.
I make love them
demonic. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, you like the what?
The part with the donkey in the snow.
Oh!
Yeah, that part is super awesome. Our neighbors just got a donkey too, so my son and I were walking down, and all of a sudden we heard the sound, and we're like, "What was that?" And they have a donkey, and they are loud. It's awesome.
Yeah. I like to watch the humans, and it's like a human animal reunion. They meet their the people who took care of them after so many years.
Oh yeah,
And there was this donkey that was just so happy to see his human. He was having a good old time. He was it's like, oh, he's a happy guy.
I love animals. That's so
I
cool.
love that. I do. I love that so much. If you want to see me cry happy tears, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so good. The soldier reunions when they come home from being overseas and they greet their kids and their wives again.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm just like I turn into a big sobbing mess.
Understandable.
Um I mean, that's pretty much all I have for this week. I think that's all we're going to do this week. It is a little shorter, but I do have to put my son to bed at 10 o'clock. So we need to wrap this up a little bit earlier than normal. That's why I kind of started earlier, because I figured if we were at least going to go an hour, if that would happen, then we could, wrap up a little earlier. But
Yeah, it's almost
that's,
an hour.
yeah, I mean, it's almost an hour, you guys. That's pretty much again, I will try to get all the deities I have and all their history and stuff and put that in the description field for you. If you want to, Matt, if you want to go ahead and do any of that, you're more than welcome to send me those links, and I'll put them all in the description field so anyone can look up this stuff. If you are interested in learning more about us, and I want you guys to, because we're going to do some shameless plugs here to wrap it up. If you guys would like to know more about us, you can become a Patreon supporter for $10 a month. For $5, you will literally get, I think you get to be a guest on the show. You'll get bloopers and stuff and behind the scenes. $10 is more like we do a live Patreon show where me and Matt will talk more about ourselves, about our path. And if you want to ask questions in the live chat, you can do that. For $3, I believe it's just we say your name and you get to ask us a question or something like that. But all those will be in the description field. Again, if you can support us, please do so. $3, $5, and $10. We're trying to do this as best we can with the budgets we both have. Now I do know on my wrestling show, I just uploaded, I just uploaded episode 37, and it is the Big Show and Kurt Hennig's match on Nitro in, I think it's October. It might be the end of September. I think it's October though. It's October of 97, I believe. And for everyone who doesn't know, Paul White was the Giant in WCW. He's now called the Big Show in he's with AEW, but he was also in WWE and known as the Big Show. In 97, he was known as the Giant, and him and Kurt had a great match on Nitro. I'm just a little cringy. It's like, but Kurt let him kick out of his Henigplex, and it kind of goes on from there. And then, of course, there's a DQ and the NWO comes into it. So check that out. Again, links will be in the description field. If you would like to give to my wrestling Patreon, I got $1, $3, $5, and $10. Again, everything will be down in the description field, so you can click on that. Also, if you would like to watch Pro Wrestling Talk, that is Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. We just got, I didn't get the episode yet, but I'm waiting for Angel to send it to me. So hopefully he will send it to me either today or tomorrow. I will DM him just to I'm like, did you get the thing downloaded yet? I know it's a little slower for him to download now that he's got a new computer, but So that, again, all in the description field. If you there is merch now that we're selling. If you would like some of that merch, buy, because it's going quick. It's going like hotcakes. Excuse me, and it does give back to the show. So that will be in the description field. Indie News Network gives us that stuff, and we can just use it as is. And then also, if you, again, would like to support us, links in the description field, and we will be next week with who, Matt?
Chris Travers from World Traveling Cooking and the author of The Serpent and the Eagle.
Okay, and what will we be talking about with him?
He's up for anything, so his book's on Norse stuff, but he does awesome cooking segments on YouTube where he does all sorts of cuisine from all over the world. And so I think it'll be
nice,
awesome.
So we could ask for all kinds of recipes and stuff, because I'm looking for new ones. I love, actually, I'll just come out and say it. Okay, I like baking. I love baking. I can make a mean soft chocolate chip cookie. Just ask my former employers, who they were just, oh, can you make those cookies again? I'm like, yeah, okay. I love making brownies. I made cheesecake because I love. It's one of my weaknesses is strawberry cheesecake.
Chocolate for me, but I hear you there.
Well, I love chocolate too. I trust. I'm a chocoholic. Trust me. It has to be chocolate all the time. Okay. No, I love Reese's. I like the fast breaks. I love the Reese's sticks. Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, I'm eating them. Of course, I live about an hour from Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I grew up with the Hershey candy, so the Hershey's chocolate bars and stuff. I love those. Oh, I could eat those all day. But another weakness is definitely strawberry cheesecake. I love strawberries. I love them. And then, of course, you have the cheesecake on top of it. So if he can tell me how to make a cheesecake as good as my mother's, well, I'm all ears. So, well, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I'm sorry this was a little shorter than normal, but again, I do have something to do at 10 o'clock. And again, if you want to support anything we do here, down in the description field, Matt's stuff is down there. I think you have your Amazon there for any poetry that you have.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so if you want a copy of those, down in the description field. And that's it for us, guys. So everyone, have a great week, and blessed be.